Hey everybody, this is Townsend. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, and mental health advocate, and I started the You're Not Alone project and podcast to help educate, spread awareness, and simply help you feel a little less alone, no matter what you're going through. Thank you so much for tuning in to Season 2 of You're Not Alone with Townsend. Be sure to click the follow button and share these stories. You can also watch the interviews on our YouTube under Townsendtmusic. You can also keep up with the journey if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Townsendtmusic. Every like, follow, and share helps us continue to change lives. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of You're Not Alone with Townsend. I've got a pretty special guest on today. We were just talking about how he is kind of the light in a dark world. This guy, I've never seen him without a smile on. And despite everything he has going on health-wise, pretty cool guy. Watching him get ready for this podcast was super motivational. We'll get to that in a minute. But his name is Ron. I want to thank you so much for joining us, Ron.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you're so awesome. I'm already excited.
You have the biggest smile going.
Well, I'm excited. I love my guests. I think it's so fun to share their stories and just get to share a little bit of light in the world, kind of like you do. So I'm excited. All right, let's do it. Okay, let's start off with who the heck is Ron? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Long Island, came out to Tucson, Arizona, a place I had never been before, had never seen, moved 2,000 miles away from my home, all my friends, my family, because I knew it was the place that my life would start over again. At 20 years old, I had a serious diving accident while I was in the Coast Guard. I was a sailor aboard a ship in Fort Macon, North Carolina, Morehead City. And on June 2nd of 1977, a very innocent dive into the ocean changed my life completely. I was 6'1", 186 pounds, big muscular sailor guy, and in a split second, I became totally dependent on others and paralyzed from my chest down, a quadriplegic. And I've been that way 46 years, and I've created an entirely new life for me. But however, when I joined the Coast Guard, I was trained to save lives. And here I am on social media doing the same thing. I'm just not a sailor anymore.
I love that so much. Absolutely. So this guy is all over social media. I kept seeing him pop up. And so I logged on to your lives a couple times, and this guy's just singing songs and chit-chatting, keeping people company. Just such a positive attitude, which is so amazing considering what happened. Okay, so explain a little bit. One, what does quadriplegic mean for those people that don't know?
Right. Well, now the politically correct new term is tetraplegic.
Okay.
However, I've been paralyzed 46 years, and I'm an old school guy. You know, I'm a classic 70 rocker, so I go by quadriplegic. Quad meaning four, my hands and legs are paralyzed due to a spinal cord injury experienced when I broke my neck at cervical 5 and 6. Basically, I cannot really do anything myself except use my mind and my creativity. And so one of my favorite sayings is my passion for life is not paralyzed. And I have created a whole new way of being Ron, just in a different format.
Wow. Well, I was going to ask, what in the world? You said you dove into the ocean. Did you hit like a sandbar, or what in the world happened?
Yeah, exactly. I have been in that area, the Triplets here, many times. I'm a merman. I also wanted to save people's lives. I had choices. I could have went to culinary arts school. I could have pursued a music career, or I could have went into the Coast Guard. I chose the most honorable one that would make me more mature, and that was the service, the Coast Guard. And so, there I was, just an innocent dive into the ocean. It was a full moon. The tide went out further than usual. The sand was burning hot, which distracted my burning feet. And I couldn't wait to get to the water. And I dove and hit my head. My spine exploded, my neck. And there I was, completely paralyzed, floating upside down at 20 years old.
Goodness gracious. Had you known Did you know anything about spinal cord injuries before your accident?
Not a lot, but I knew that I had to be, if I had someone in this situation as a Coast Guard guy, I knew I had to handle them carefully, like taping sandbags to their head and immobilizing them and be very careful to move them anytime there's a neck injury, you know.
Yeah. Did you have guys out there with you?
I had a good friend named Scott Buckley who was laying on the beach, and I asked him, "Do you want to go in for one last swim before I went back to the ship to eat?" And he said, "No, you go ahead." And so he lay back down on the beach on the blanket, and I went out there, took that dive, and my first thoughts were, "You really screwed up." Oh,
Well, he was probably thinking the same.
well,
Wow.
he had no idea. He wasn't watching me, so I laid floating in that water until I actually faced my own death by drowning. And I said goodbye to my life at 20 years old. And I slowly slipped. I'll never forget holding my breath, which felt like an eternity, until I couldn't hold it any longer. And I hated taking that first breath of water into my lungs because it meant defeat. It
Right.
meant I giving up. And I took the second breath of water into my lungs and I left. As far as I know, I had passed away. I had died. And I had a very spiritual experience where I had a wonderful telepathic conversation with God. And I begged for a second chance to come back no matter what my circumstances were. At 20 years old, I didn't want to die. My birthday was 2 weeks before that. I just didn't want to leave, you know?
Yeah.
I was so close to heaven, but at 20 years old, you know, the rockers or young people are like Hendrix, most people, we lost them too soon, and I wasn't going to go yet.
Yeah.
And so I returned back into my body. And as I came to, my friend was looking over me, and I realized right away that he was giving me mouth to mouth resuscitation, and he was about to give up. And I came back in my body, and I was
Wow.
alive again. Yeah, wow.
Wow, that is amazing. Oh my goodness gracious. So your life changed completely that day.
Yeah, to the core. You
Literally.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, I am the same Ron, but in many ways, like my video I posted today, I'm a better version of myself.
That's a good way to look at
And
it.
a disability brought it out. And my message to people today was that everyone has a better version of themselves inside. It's just what's it going to take to have you pull it out?
Yeah.
Don't wait for an accident, right? Don't wait.
That's right. I love it. So for people that don't know, spinal cord injury can look like all types of things. We've had spinal cord injury survivors on previous episodes, but
Yes.
what did therapy look like for you? Recovery.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is back in 1977. Okay, so the, the, the medicine, the medical information and the progress is tremendous. Back then, there was, you know, I was given 10 years to live at 1978 when I left the hospital. And you could do the math, you know, I've been paralyzed 46 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's
By those
pretty,
statistics, you're a miracle.
oh, yeah, absolutely. I baffle the medical society.
I love it.
Yeah, they don't know what to make of me. And I'm sort of a natural nut. I'm into holistic natural therapies and stuff. And when I came to Tucson, I met with a naturopath who adopted me and took me under his wing and taught me how to care for myself. And that's partly why I'm still here.
Absolutely.
And I do believe that I had a calling, you know, and I believe I'm a lighthouse, a beacon of hope here. I believe that's why God saved my life. Coming on social media has been like the best thing for me because 6 years ago I became homebound because when I sit up in my wheelchair, I have low blood pressure issues and I get very lightheaded. So I lay down a lot. And 6 years ago, I had a very serious lung infection where I almost left the world again. But I came back, and it took me about a week to get out of the hospital. But I was homebound ever since then. And this is about a year or two before the pandemic. settled in, and I already had quarantine down pat,
Yeah.
And so, and then I dealt with other medical issues where I had gastroparesis, which is paralyzed stomach, and you can't eat. So I lost over 100 pounds. I was on the first stage of hospice program. And then 3 years ago, my stomach miraculously started working again. I came onto Facebook because a friend of mine had been my voice on there while I was sick. And he came from Colorado, my friend Scott. He said, I wanted to see you in person. You look okay. You're on Facebook now. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm like, I don't want to go on social media.
Yeah.
I don't want it. He said, well, okay. You got hundreds of people back home that want to know about you. So go ahead. Don't be on social media. But I'm not going to be a voice anymore. So he guilt tripped me.
That's awesome. Well, then we have him to thank, I guess.
Well, yeah, if we're coming on Facebook, when I started writing again,
Yeah.
I was a singer-songwriter, guitar player. And so not being able to play guitar was the toughest thing, the hardest. I mean, my guitar was my best friend. I miss guitar more than I miss walking.
Wow. Wow.
I honestly do.
Yeah. So
And
not only are you just a miracle once, you're a miracle like 4 times now.
yeah, I am. I am.
God's looking out for you, I think.
I have so many guardian angels looking out for me and keeping me,
That's
and
right. I feel like they're joking up in heaven about how stubborn you are. How like, man, this guy just won't give up,
Yeah. No, well, I am a very tough, stubborn person. I consider myself the wheelchair warrior.
I want to personally thank you for taking the time to listen to these conversations. It truly means so much. We've changed so many lives for the better, and we want to continue doing so throughout 2023. This project is made possible by sponsors and patrons. So if you'd like to help keep the You're Not Alone project going and hearing these amazing stories, we would love for you to join the family at patreon.com/Townsendtmusic. Just for signing up, you'll get free merch, discounts, and behind-the-scenes patron-only footage, not only of my music, but of each episode. That's right, so each guest on every episode answers a few more questions that only patrons will be able to watch and listen to. So head on over to patreon.com/Townsendtmusic and let's continue changing lives.
A good friend of mine's sister was on that Facebook group for my hometown, Plainview, over in Bates, Long Island, and she loved my stories that I used to write. And so she got a hold of me through Facebook Messenger and said, go on TikTok. They'll love you. I said, I'm not going on TikTok. I had a caregiver, had twin daughters about 12 years old. She showed me these goofy, silly dances. I'm going, listen, I am not going on TikTok. And she was tenacious. And every month she'd send me a message like, month in, finally I said, I got to shut her up. I went on TikTok, I did a video, and you know what? I liked it.
That's awesome.
I always thought how cool it would be to be an MTV videographer and make videos for bands.
Yeah.
How cool, right? And so I went, wow, this TikTok is kind of like that. You make videos, you're creating a whole like little TV channel, and that's where it started.
It just blew up from that. You've got over 100,000 followers.
Well, you know what happened is I love anybody, 2 tickets to Paradise. And I saw people doing lip syncs. And I'm like, I gave up singing. I really did. Because of my paralysis, I have very weak diaphragm muscles. And I said, I'm going to have some fun, and, well, I love anybody going 2 tickets to Paradise. So I started doing the lip sync. And it was a lot of fun. I said, I like this. And so the next song I decided to do, I'm a Sailor, was branded by Looking Glass. And I did that song, and holy crap, it went crazy on TikTok.
That is awesome.
I got like 160,000 views.
Isn't that awesome?
And you know what? I'm almost going to tear up. I found my voice again on TikTok.
Isn't that right? It's almost, as I get older, and same thing, my nieces would show me TikTok, and I thought, what a goofy thing. I do not want to get into that. But I finally did. I bit the bullet, and I have met the most amazing people like you and heard amazing stories. And it's just been another way to share light and build community. And it's almost like a diary for some people. I
Yeah.
mean, it is therapeutic.
Well, I think TikTok is the best venue on social media because you have your own little TV channel and you have the voice to the world.
That's right.
I'm on TikTok and I'm singing again. I'm happy. And when I do my lives, people tell me, shut up, stop preaching and sing.
That's awesome.
So I'm singing again and my diaphragm's getting strong again. People, I have a lot of regulars and one day the people go, can you walk? Can you walk? I'm like, I can't walk. That's
Yeah.
no big thing. I can't walk, but I sure can sing. I'm like, people, wow, this guy is singing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I logged on. I think I logged on for something like that, and people are like, "Well, what do you do?" Blah blah blah, like this guilt story, and you're just smiling and singing. I think my favorite thing is you tape the date on your forehead so people know it's actually live. I love
Well,
that.
yeah, you know why? I was
Why?
hacked.
No
Someone,
kidding.
a scammer, recorded a Thursday live, and I got 2,300 followers that night.
No
It was
kidding.
over 200,000 likes. It was an incredible night. 6,000 people on at once. The hackers recorded me, and you know what? They showed it 12 days in a row, 24 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe it?
No, people are crazy.
Every time I tried to go live, I was competing against myself.
Whoa, that's a weird thought.
Tell me if that's not weird. I mean,
Crazy.
I'm a pretty good guy out there, So it's like I got tough competition with myself.
Myself, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I love it. I thought it was genius when I saw it. So you kind of touched on this, but obviously we're all human. And as happy as you seem and as happy go lucky as you may be deep on the core, we're
Yeah,
going to have hard days, right? And I'm a
yeah,
huge advocate on mental health being so important. So
yeah.
what do hard days look like for you? How do you get yourself out of those funks that we get in?
I'll tell you, I never think about or feel that I'm disabled or that I have the physical challenge until I have no caregiver to care for me. And that's when I have the hardest times, and I just have to. I had to, because I probably had over 1,000 caregivers, and so I had to adopt the philosophy that people that are come in my life, they might spend a day, they might speak a week, they might spend a month, they might spend a year, they might never leave, like a couple of my caregivers. But they're in my life for a certain period of time, call it a karmic payback. I don't know what exactly happens, but in the time they hear, I have to understand that that's perfect
Mhm.
and that they move on and the next person comes in and I have the exchange of energy. I meet them, we get close, and then they move on and the next person comes. It's an ever evolving thing. And that philosophy has helped me a lot. Other than that, I'm really a pretty upbeat guy. And most people, and my caregivers will tell you when they come in, I'm awake because I've been writing for hours. I get up 3 or 4 in the morning. So I I never deny my feelings or emotions. I honor them. I allow myself to be there, but I usually don't stay there that long.
Man, that's awesome. That right there is inspirational. That's pretty cool. You could throw a pretty big pity party for yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? When people say I feel so sad or, pitiful, so all my mods know right away empathy, not sympathy. And
Right.
I hate pity.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? People judge me without even getting to know me. I mean, they say, I feel so sad, I'm crying. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm laying here happy singing. I don't get it. What's your problem?
I
I don't
love it. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I have to ask. So I talked about earlier how impressive it was watching you get ready for the podcast. I honestly did not realize you're so independent with it. So tell us about if you're listening on a streaming service, go back and watch the YouTube video because you can see his setup a little bit. Ron, walk us through there are a couple of contraptions sticking out in the video. Tell me how this works. Like that was so cool to watch you set that up.
Uh, the mouse stick. Okay.
Crazy. Okay.
We call it the magic stick. I can't really. My hands are paralyzed, so I have no use of my fingers. So I text, I write, I communicate, press buttons with the stick.
Wow.
I have excellent mouth control.
No kidding.
I have an incredibly strong, muscular neck.
Yeah.
And I always say on TikTok, I have a very talented mouth. I'm an excellent kisser.
Ladies, pay attention.
Then I have here this green hose. I don't know if you can tell the color, but it's called an environmental control unit. I work with my breath. So if I suck in once, nurse call, phone, light, bed, accessory, cancel. So nurse call, light. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Turn on. I don't know you see the light come on. But yeah. Oh, see? There we go. So I turn
That
nurse call, phone, light. 1, 2, 3. Turn on. Turn off. Shut off.
holy moly.
It's called the Environmental Control Unit by a company, Quartet. It's about $10,000.
Woo boy.
And I thank everyone who pays taxes in the United States because they bought that equipment for me because I am a retired military Coast Guard sailor. And so the VA purchased that equipment for me.
I love it. I love it. I support that all day long.
So this allows me to live independently. So my caregivers come and go. They don't live in the house with me.
Okay.
I'm in by myself. I have caregivers come, they go. But from 11 at night to 7 in the morning, I'm here by myself.
Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah. Technology,
Yeah.
There a lot of times there are many different ways of doing things and achieving things. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, you go a different route. But as long as you get to the end result, that's all that matters. And so you just have to come up with an understanding in your mind that, listen, you can't do things the way you used to, but you can still achieve it. So
I love that so much. So something I try to keep in mind when I do these podcasts is like how much we take for granted. Like I use my little mouse and I do it click, click, click. And watching you do it, I'm repeating myself like 3 times, but it was just the coolest thing to watch. It's inspiring. And it's also like, wow, we take so much for granted and how cool that you were able to adapt that to work for yourself. That's just cool. I'm blown away by you, Ron. You're a cool guy.
well, thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, so for spinal cord injuries, a lot of my listeners either know someone that have gone through it or they've gone through it themselves. When you were going through it, where did you find the best or the most resources for your situation, even if it's today like TikTok?
Yeah, Facebook has several good spinal cord injury groups, and I don't know exactly their names. SCI Life is one of them. There's 3 main ones that I hooked up with, and I stick with those 3 because as soon as I submit my post, they post it. It doesn't go through an administration.
That's awesome.
They also love my singing and my TikTok videos. So I usually share my TikTok videos the day after with them. And but Facebook's been silencing a lot of the copyrights. And it's a lot to go put them on there. And so, I stopped for a little while, and then I did a duet with one of my nurses, Margie. And so I knew they couldn't silence that. And I posted it. And oh my God, but people came out of work. Where have you been? Where have you been? So I'm trying to Put the video on there. And if it gets silence, it just gets silence. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But those three main groups are excellent support, and a lot of good spinal cord people that have had that injury, and a lot of new people, and they're the ones that I find the most important audience that I can be, because I'm an example that after a serious spinal cord injury, you can still have a meaningful life. It might not be the Hollywood story you had in your mind, but with the attitude, perception, and your attitude, you can make it. You can make it and make it a great life, And so I try to inspire the young people most of all.
I love that. Well, really, though, you're kind of living the Hollywood life. I mean, you're kind of TikTok famous.
Well, I know I laugh about that, but that's only because I do a lot of lives.
I love how you worded this situation helped you find your voice. Like that, just so cool, so inspirational. What do you, of all the information we shared, what's one thing you hope that people take away from this interview or from your situation?
Yeah, no matter what happens to your life, never lose sight of your passion, and don't give up. There's miracles happen every day, and like I said, with the right attitude and perception, you can find your way through life. It doesn't have to be the end. I tell people all the time, you don't have to have a physical body to be happy. You don't need to lift 100 pounds. You don't need to run a mile. It's your heart, your mind, and soul. That's most important. So let that be happy. That'll keep you going. Follow your passion, your dream.
That's a good thing, because let me tell you, I can't lift 100 pounds and I sure ain't running a mile. So.
Well, you have to say, right?
That's right. Well, you did a little self-promotion. I got to do, Ron, I think you should lip sing some Townsend music. I mean, let's be for real now. I play music full time, and I think my listeners would like that.
Real?
Absolutely. I do music full time, and so you should lip sing some of my originals.
Okay. I'll have to take the challenge on, huh?
I love it so much. Ron, thank you so much for joining us. It has been such a pleasure.
The same here. I appreciate it. I always love doing interviews and stuff and meeting new people like yourself and making connections, That's what it's all about, sharing the love, the joy, the passion. Kindness, a smile goes a long way.
I believe that deep in my soul. All right, listeners, you know the drill. If you want to hear the rest of the questions for my Patreons only, log on to patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. That is how we keep this project and this podcast going. You will help support the You're Not Alone project and foundation. If not, we'll see you next week.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this interview, visit patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. And don't forget, you can also watch the interviews on our YouTube channel at Townsendtmusic YouTube.
Okay, guys, if you're in the market to buy or sell, I have the perfect company for you. Clark & Co. Realty is located in the Benton, Bryant, Arkansas area, but they're able to serve you no matter where you're located in the state. They've streamlined the process of buying or selling a home to make it so much easier. They have a team of industry experts that make sure you have access from anything you can think of. I'm talking from local home inspectors to painters to gardeners and so much more, just to provide you with the best service possible. They're dedicated to providing the most up-to-date market data in the area. And I think the coolest part is if you go on their website, you can use their easy-to-use fast property search. You can even create a custom market report to see what's active, under contract, and sold in your neighborhood. Their team is made up of caring, knowledgeable professionals that work around the clock to help you with the process of buying and selling your home. So again, if you're in the market to buy or sell, Clark & Co. Realty is definitely the company for you. Tell them Townsend sent you. Let's be honest. I think we could all use somebody to talk to every now and then. Healing Path Counseling in Conway, Arkansas is 100% my go-to when it comes to therapy. Wendy Blackwood has more credentials than letters in the alphabet. She's won awards for her outstanding services and has a whole page of board memberships. Basically, she knows what she's doing. She works hard to help equip you with the tools needed to live your best life. She even offers a variety of services, including, but not limited to, cognitive behavioral therapy, technology-assisted counseling, relationship counseling, and EMDR. Trust me, I know therapy can be intimidating at first, but let me assure you, Wendy does her best to make you comfortable and find the best solutions and plans for you. Trust me, don't wait to make the call. Give Wendy Blackwood Healing Path Counseling a call today. Get started on the best version of you. If you know me at all, you know I love local, and I love supporting local businesses. One of my favorite ones in Conway is Bell Urban Farm. My buddies Zach and Kim started this project in 2017 with a small plot that they put a garden in front of their house, and now it's just grown. They have everything you can think of. And did I mention it's all local? They've got honey, they've got flowers, they have farm boxes that are full of beautiful, amazing local produce. So swing by, stop in, I promise you won't regret it.